Every headline you see is a smokescreen distracting from the atrocities you heard about yesterday. You are being gaslit by a system designed to keep you blind. Welcome to Political Malpractice. Open your eyes, see the frauds behind the curtain, dismantle the illusion.
Welcome back to Political Malpractice. It is I, Sasha, your hostess with the mostest, and our midweek co-host, Chris Barrett. How are you doing, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing great, and I'm back on X now. So, I'd taken a little break, deactivated my account, but I'm back on there. So if anyone wants to see what I've got going on, there's some pretty interesting stuff on there lately that's getting a whole lot of attention.
Look, I will say, I hate X. I hated it when it was Twitter. I hate it now. It irritates me trying to follow a conversation. You've got to jump all over the damn place. The
Right.
only time I am active on that damn thing is when you send me something from your account and you're like, hey, look at this. And you send me what you've posted. I get dragged into fucking fights with your moronic people. These
Oh yeah.
morons that still follow you, I get stuck in those fights. I'm like, God damn it. Chris,
I
it's
know.
like 6:30 in the morning my time. What are you fucking doing to me, man?
Oh yeah, I know. I've got a lot of right wingers who still follow me, and I am actually appreciative of the conservatives who do still follow me because there are still a lot of them who are, looking at what I have to say and kind of being like, oh, you're gonna make a good point. But I also have a lot of assholes that still follow me too. So those conservatives
Yeah.
can get fucked and leave me alone. But the other conservatives who are more reasonable, I just want to send out my thank you to you guys. Thanks for sticking by me.
Yes, those of you that don't make me get into Twitter fights with you at 6:30 in the morning. I appreciate you too.
All right.
All right. So this week,
Oh yeah.
Jesus, man. Literally Jesus, right? So apparently there's this whole Bible reading marathon for a week
Mm,
that's somehow related to the 250th anniversary of America. I
well,
don't
this is a
understand
Christian nation,
how.
don't you know?
So I when I was looking this up to see where's all this taking place, what are we doing, what's going on, I guess it's all taking place at the Museum of the Bible in Washington DC. I mean,
Oh,
if
I
we could
didn't
have
know
a
there was
museum of the
that.
Bible,
I didn't know that
there
existed.
is. Apparently it does. And knowing now that we can do museums to fictional fairy tales, I'm going to talk to my wife about doing one, museum of Harry Potter, without all
Well,
of the trans hate that J.K. Rowling seems to pull. Let's do it.
you I live about 15 miles away from Kansas. Maybe I should set up a museum of Oz.
Yes. We can do a museum of wizards and magic, and we can have a Harry Potter section. We could have, I don't know, gosh, nerds, don't come at me. But what was Mordor? What was that?
Yeah.
The Five
Oh,
Rings or
Mordor. Oh,
something
from
like
the
that?
Lord of the Rings.
Yes. We could have a Lord of
Yes,
the Rings section, and we could have a Wizard of Oz section. There we go.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'll
And
be
then
Dorothy.
and then every year for America's birthday, we can do a marathon reading session of excerpts from those books. What do you think? It
Yeah.
our our museum and our yearly reading marathon, because we can invite politicians, we could invite anybody and everybody. Let's get famous people to come and read at our museum. Our session will not violate the Constitution, and it
No.
won't step all over the Establishment Clause, because that's
No.
exactly what Trump is doing. If Christians want to have their marathon reading, more power to you. Read your damn book. But Trump doing this from the Oval Office is a clear violation of the Establishment Clause.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've said to a lot of the conservatives that who will still talk to me, and who are, seem to be fine with this sort of stuff, and I'm just kind of like, what about, the fact that Jesus commanded you not to make a big production out of your religion? I think it's in the book of Matthew. And anyway, he was like, basically go into your private room. What's held between you and God should be secret and all that type of stuff.
Hmm.
And it's this is such performative bullshit, even from a Christian standpoint. There's nothing Christian about this whatsoever. I
No,
mean, I will give the Christians that. But the problem is there's way too many of them who are sitting here jerking off to this and think that it's a great idea. But those people are not
it
good Christians at all.
it right before we started recording this evening, my wife and I were rewatching The Handmaid's Tale because they just came out with Testament, which is the sequel to it, and she had wanted to rewatch the original show so that we could just have, a good fresh memory of what had happened.
Hmm.
And right now we're in the 6th season, which is the last season of Handmaid's Tale. And we've seen Serena Joy, who, for those of you who haven't watched the show or read the book, she's the main pro or antagonist in the story. She's the main female villain. And I really felt sad for her, you know? I believe that her faith is legitimate. Her
Hmm.
faith in God, her faith in the Bible, her faith in being called to have this Christian nation so that they can be blessed by God. Um, Her faith, I think, is legitimate as a character, right? We see her stumble in her faith, we see her fall, we see her seeking redemption through all of this. Unfortunately, she was also very naive in her faith and trusts untrustworthy men
Hmm.
to lead her, which causes her to be led astray and to create Gilead, which is horrible. Yeah, there's rampant executions left, right, and center. They're raping the fertile women so that they can have these babies, stealing the babies from these women. And she's not quite seeing just how awful it is throughout the show. Um, and it kind of struck me that Serena and her sincere faith and how it was taken advantage of is what is happening, I think, to a lot of MAGA and a lot of people that go to these evangelical churches that are right now aligning with the Trump regime. You know, I think, or at least I'm hoping, maybe this is me just in a good mood trying to hope that people are not as evil as they are showing themselves to be, right? Um, I think that people are sincere in their faith, and the power hungry faith leaders, Pete Hegseth, Trump, Stephen Miller, JD Vance, they're all warping and it just disgustingly twisting this religion. I had to laugh because there's no way I'm going to go and look at this stream to see what Trump is reading, right? I'm not going to watch him stumble and mumble through the Bible because we all know that the whole thing is his favorite verse and he reads all of it all the time, even though Mein Kampf was the book that was on his nightstand instead of the Bible. So I'm sure you read the Bible all the time when you sleep with a copy of Mein Kampf next to your head. But I went in
They're both his books of
BBC,
instruction.
right? So BBC had written a little article on what it was that Trump had read. Ironically enough, he read Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse something 11 to 22. This whole section is what Christian nationalists hold up as, look, this is the evidence that America is a Christian nation, blah, blah, blah. Bitches, it's about Solomon.
Mhm.
It's not about George Washington. It's not about your horrifically skilled sailor, Christopher Columbus. It's about Solomon and
Yeah,
Solomon
may I
laying
just say,
down his temples.
yeah, may I just say, by the way, as a Jew, it is completely hilarious to listen to Christians interpret the Jewish Bible. And the shit they come up with is so convoluted, fucked up. And I'm talking about even the good Christians. I mean, they clearly do not understand the Jewish Bible.
Mm-mm.
I'm not gonna, it's just like you guys have no clue what the fuck you're talking about because they see everything through the context of Jesus, and then of course the Christian nationalists see everything through the context of Jesus via the United States. And
Right.
um, it's like what the fuck? I mean, America didn't even exist back then. Of course, God was not talking about the United States. Of
Right.
course, Chronicles was not mentioning the United States. I mean,
But
it
that's what they
wasn't.
use.
Yeah. So
It
yeah, talk about what Chronicles says. You have it read out here, written out here. I think it's pretty good.
I do. I do. The main verse that really struck me that I hope gets through to some MAGA that are listening. I'm kind of hoping that this works as a wake up alarm to those MAGA Christians who do feel that they're very sincere in their faith. So, chapter 17, verse 14, or chapter 7, verse 4, if my people, which are called by name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear them from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Guys, the devil that is Trump is legit reading you the Bible verse that says, wake the fuck up. Your beliefs are fucking wicked.
Hmm.
Wake up. Call
Yeah.
to me in sincerity away from this wickedness, and I will come heal you.
Yeah.
This is the verse that sincere Christians need to hear and realize. If you think that this is at all divinely inspired and this is part of his plan, this is God's key in his plan, trying to slap you the fuck awake, getting you to try and recognize that Trump is a false god.
Hmm.
MAGA Republicans are false gods.
Hmm.
When
Well,
I read that this is one of the verses, what the fuck? Is anybody planning the shit that he does at all?
yeah. Well, I mean, you're taking a little bit more of the more traditional Jewish interpretation, which is that it's a commandment to the people, and in this case specifically the Jews, to humble themselves and uh, to make amends with God. um I do kind of wonder because when I saw this, because I don't have the whole Bible memorized or anything, but when I saw this, then I will hear them from heaven. I kind of wondered because I think Pope Leo, when he was talking about the God is not listening to Trump, I think he was actually quoting from something from the New Testament. but I think
He
this
had
could
quoted from
also be,
Matthew, I believe.
yeah. But I think that you could also take this too. It's like if you turn away from your wicked ways, then I'll hear you from heaven.
Mhm.
How is he turning away from his wicked ways? He's not. So therefore, he's not being heard by God. God doesn't want to hear
No.
you if you have not made atonement with him. Period.
No. It and that's something that Christians are taught at a very early age. Very early. I remember, God, I had to have been 5, maybe 6, and innocent little me would sit there and, God, please, I really want to whatever, have McDonald's for lunch tomorrow. I'm fucking 5, so I'm praying for
Sure.
McDonald's. Big whoop.
Sure.
But then I remember having this insane fear. Shit. I'm supposed to say what I'm thankful for first and then ask for something, right?
Yeah.
I've never
Uh,
heard Hegsa say that he's thankful for anything. I've heard him invoke the name of God as a battle cry, like God is going to come down with a fiery sword or send Gabriel or Michael with their fiery swords to seek vengeance for the US. Like God is legit going to be on your side in a war? Are you stupid?
so when I pray to God, because I do pray very regularly. Now, this is kind of interesting as a Jew. I follow the outline of the so-called Lord's Prayer, which Jesus gave to people. I actually follow that as my outline for how I'm going to pray, kind of the order of operations, so to speak, for a prayer.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense to me, even though I'm Jewish, because Jesus was a Jew too, and he was a good Jew,
Mhm.
and he, I mean, everything in that prayer, there is absolutely nothing that goes against Jewish belief, and so I like it, and I actually follow that outline. When I listen to these Christian conservatives pray, and a lot of times it's very interesting. First of all, I don't think that I've ever heard one actually follow the outline of the Lord's Prayer because, hello, that's why Jesus gave it to
Mm.
you. He was telling you how to pray, you stupid shits. And anyway, so I've never heard that. A lot of times when they pray, it tends to almost be like a political speech or something like that. Uh,
Yes.
you know, I
It's
was
either
at
it's either a political speech or we're plagiarizing from Tarantino at this point.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Well, because I remember one, my most favorite one that I ever heard was when I went to what they call a Lincoln Reagan Days event for the Republican Party. And anyway, they got some pastor to show up there, and his whole thing was a tirade against same-sex marriage. And I leaned
Mhm.
over to Nathan, and I was just like, "Does this sound anything like what Jesus commanded when he said how to pray?" And Nathan's like, "No." And I leaned over to my friend Regina. I was like, "Regina, I'm sorry. I'm going to get up and walk out." This is when I was running for office. So it made quite a
Mhm.
scene when I got up with Nathan and we just walked out in the middle of it. And I yelled up at the stage. I was like, learn how to pray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It I caution if any MAGA happens to hear this, any MAGA Christian, I caution you to open the Bible that you so hardly thump on social media. Turn it to 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see where they are from, be- where they are from. Oh, to see whether they are from God, because
Hmm.
many false prophets have gone out into the world.
Hmm.
And then turn it to Titus chapter 1 verses 15 to 16. To the pure, all things are pure, But to those who are corrupted and do not believe, nothing is pure. In fact, both their minds and consciences are corrupted. They claim to know God, but by their actions they deny him. They are detestable, disobedient, and unfit for doing anything good.
Hmm.
I, I I don't know about you. I mean, we've got a Jew and an atheist who are talking about this shit. But I think between the two of us, we can come to some kind of consensus that this warns Christians, don't just believe every pastor who has, drones making the shape of Jesus on the cross. That doesn't make them holier than the
Hmm.
pastor that's leading a tiny flock in the middle of fucking nowhere, who is teaching them as God taught to love their neighbor. There's no question. It's not,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll love my neighbor if they vote right. Yeah, love your neighbor if they have documentation for immigration. Yeah, love your neighbor if the married couple, there's only one penis and one vagina between the both of them. That's
No,
not what was taught. And that's
no.
what these evangelical pastors are teaching. That's what Trump is teaching. That's what Hegseth is screaming about in between whiskey shots. I don't understand how atheists, non-Christians can look at this behavior and then look at the Bible and say, there's a few things missing. You're missing
Right.
some things.
Well, I mean, I have the benefit of having gone to a fairly, not to toot my own horn, prestigious Catholic university here in Missouri. It's called St. Louis University. They jokingly call it the Ivy League of the Midwest. And um, anyway, so I learned a lot because I was very fascinated with learning about the Christian
Hmm.
faith. Even though, I mean, I took plenty of classes also that dealt with like world religions, and they offered classes on Judaism as well. Um, oh, and just as an aside, the Trumpers would love this to know this, that on the campus we had a Jewish student center and we had an Islamic student center.
Oh, heaven forbid. It was not a real Christian college then.
No, I guess not. I guess not. They were
It,
very welcoming of everyone. And they even had something for LGBT people as well. So of course it wasn't a real Christian university. But,
of course
I
not.
mean, yeah, but they were the cool freaking Jesuits and they just rolled their own way. And anyway, but I learned a lot about it, and I think that I found that Christianity was a pretty beautiful religion, and um, but the simple fact is, I bet you anything that you and I, at least I know for sure for a fact, probably know more about the Christian Bible than most Christians do. And I think that's why,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's why we're seeing this stuff because these people, all they know are the verses that are convenient to them and their political beliefs. So basically,
Hmm.
they're misusing the Bible because it shouldn't be used for your fucking political beliefs anyway. And
Exactly.
um, anyway, so I think that's the thing. There's a lot of ignorance among Christians. I have family members who are devout Christians and they're lovely people, but the ones who really know the Bible, it's kind of funny. They treat me so much better than
Hmm.
those family members who don't really know the Bible that much, but call themselves Christian.
Right. Right. There's a big difference between Christians who actually read the Bible for themselves and really think about it and look and see, how does this play into my life? What am I doing to embody the things that I am told to do and the way to be versus those that, spend an hour, hour and a half at church on Sunday and then go and scream at the waitress when they go to their traditional Sunday lunch.
Hmm.
You know, it without fail, that's what you see. And I really, really hope that the MAGA the MAGA members who were watching this Bible reading tonight, who are sincere in their belief, who have just been led astray by false prophets, I
Hmm.
really hope that this speaks to them.
Oh
I
yeah,
hope that it
yeah.
speaks to them. I hope that they wake up, and I hope that they also remember that pride goeth before a fall, motherfucker. If you realize that this is a mistake, your worship of Trump is the worship of a false idol, and you don't check your pride at the door and hit your knees and apologize to your God, your fall is going to be a lot harder than mine. Because
Uh,
yeah, if there's a God and when I die, sure, I'm going to be judged. But it's not going to be because I used my faith to batter and belittle people that are different. That's not what I'm going to be judged for.
no, no, no,
I
no,
don't
for
know.
sure. You know, and I mean, I think that it says a lot that the MAGA Christian, let's definitely use that in quotes, Christian conservatives have turned so much on Pope Leo. Now, of course, the Protestants, it's very much, because they've always had like, a fucking bad taste in their mouth over the Pope. But and they're just using this as another excuse, so to hate on him. So I just ignore that. But there's a lot of conservative Catholics. Not that there's actually many, because most Catholics aren't particularly conservative, but not but the most conservative Catholics are totally turning on their Pope. And it's all over this political stuff. And I listen to what Pope Leo says, and it's like, hmm, yeah, he's speaking the truth of the gospel. Um, it's kind of funny that you guys are disagreeing with him.
Right. It I don't understand. But then we've got people like some guy named Riley Niemi. Apparently, he's a well-known MAGA influencer.
Mind
Um,
you guys, I do not know who the hell he is.
I've never heard of the guy. I've never
Wow.
heard of the guy. So he's might be well known in like hardcore MAGA circles, but
Must
that doesn't
be.
give you any clout to the rest of people, right?
No.
He approached a gay couple, Anthony Vulin and David Vulin, while they were walking with their infant in West Hollywood. He approached them and told them that he was a CNN reporter and wanted to ask them some questions. So, sure, they stopped and they were talking to the guy. He started being really vulgar and, asking them some really personal questions about, how did they get their baby? And did they know that gay men are more likely to be pedophiles than straight men? And it's weird that they have a kid and blah, blah, blah. Finally pushed like David to his breaking point, and David hauled off and kicked his ass. I mean, for all of you MAGA folk that think that gay men are somehow less manly than you, one of yours just got your ass kicked really well by one of ours. I'm just
Right.
saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, because he went after him, and this Riley guy is running away like a little bitch.
Oh
Aren't
yeah.
you like this alpha MAGA man? Bitch, you tucked tail and you ran. What
Uh-huh.
the fuck? You know? It apparently, from what I can find, um, David was charged for like ruining the camera. He got some kind of vandalism charge, not even an assault charge or a battery charge, right? So apparently the cops thought that he had good reason to haul off and punch this guy because the way the guy was talking and the way that he was like edging in front of their stroller to not let them move, I would have been afraid too. Here you are talking hateful to me. You're blocking my way. I have a child that I have to protect. I have to protect my spouse who's holding said child. Yeah, my kicking your ass is absolutely self defense. So this will be an interesting one to watch as it kind of evolves. Um, the video that you had sent me about it, there were still operational cameras on both sides after this happened. So I don't know what camera they claim that he ruined.
I don't know. I just this was so sweet for me to see, especially as a gay man, because it's true. Our manliness is always called into question.
Right.
Because evidently we don't like the puss out, so therefore less than as far as men. And it's like, no, no. Actually, we know how to take it like a man, if you know what I mean. So, but I'm just like, what the fuck? And some of the stuff that I saw
Hmm.
in response to this on social media was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this to this guy while they were holding a baby. And it's like, so if somebody comes up and mugs your wife or something like that, you're gonna stand back and say, "Oh, go ahead and mug her because, she's holding a fucking baby." It was like the
Well,
most ludicrous bullshit that I
and
saw
Anthony
from
was
the
the one
right.
holding the baby. Anthony was holding the baby. He didn't throw a
Right.
single punch. He stayed behind David to keep the baby safe.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. There was nothing untoward about what they did. They were just simply defending
mm-mm.
themselves. And I think that it's more, I mean, I have been on X encouraging gay men. Next time you encounter some right wing Christian who wants to talk down to you, next time you encounter some conservative who wants to talk down to you, don't talk to them in words. Punch them right in the fucking face. That's what you
Yeah,
do. That gets your
yeah,
point across, because no straight man would ever listen to some bitch like
uh-uh.
that talk down to them. And there is no reason for gay men to take that shit either. And I'll tell you what, Sasha. I mean, I'm dead serious. The next time one of these motherfuckers ever talk to me, I'll probably go to jail.
Make sure Nathan has my number so that I'm not texting you for a midweek episode going, Chris, where are you?
Because I'm not going to take this shit anymore. I'm not
No,
going
nor
to.
should you. Nor should you. You know, I've noticed about the area where I live that these so-called manly MAGA Christian men who think that women and men, think that people who are in the LGBTQ community are this affront to God, are so willing to talk so much shit online, right? They are so willing to talk so much shit when they catch a gay person by themselves, because they've talked shit to me when I've been by myself. In public, however, if I'm with my wife, no one has the balls to say anything. You are too much of a chicken shit to preach your bullshit truth when there's equal numbers. If you're with
Right.
your wife, I'm with my wife, you're a chicken shit. The only time these MAGA men have balls is when I'm at work and they know that I'm not going to lose my shit and set you right and go about educating you because you're not worth my $120,000 a year job. You're just not, you know?
No.
It
Well, I mean, gay people need to stand up for themselves, and especially gay men really need to stand up for themselves because, I mean, really, when it comes to this stuff, uh, dealing with so-called gay adoption, you know, most of it, from what I can tell on social media and in the news, is generally directed toward gay men. Lesbians are kind
uh-huh.
of like a passing thought for them. And, I came, I have kind of an explanation for that, which is that, uh, straight men as the people who pretty much dominate the whole fucking world, have lesbian sexual fantasies. So lesbianism is
Yeah.
it's not so icky. But two men
No.
being together is extremely icky to them. They feel threatened by it. I saw that Matt Walsh, posted something about gay people adopting, and what he said about lesbians was literally in passing. It was a parenthetical statement.
Mhm.
Literally was. The whole
Yeah.
thing, the whole diatribe was really about gay men adopting. And it's like, I started looking at some of the outcomes, and, you know, gay men um, were not as likely to marry. But when we do marry, our relationships tend to outlast everybody else, everyone,
Yep.
everyone, period. You know, and so we have stable family environments. We generally have a little bit more wealth, that type of stuff. So the outcomes for children raised by gay men tend to actually be better on average than if they were raised by a heterosexual.
Yeah.
And oh my God, when I brought that up, that just like blew their fucking minds. Like,
And
show me the data. And of course, I've listed it all out. It was like several pages worth of shit. It's like, I'm sorry, guys.
yep.
Gay dudes are better parents than you straight fucks. I'm sorry, we are.
And here's where I think straight men have the issue, right? So women are stereotypically the child rearers. So if a
Right.
lesbian couple has a baby, that's kind of like a no-brainer. Like the women, right? That's what they're supposed to do, have babies, raise them, nurture them, whatever. Um Men don't represent the MAGA alpha male persona if they are straight and they engage in any type of child rearing activity. Straight men will say, "I can't do that today. I have to babysit my kids." The fuck you mean babysit your kids? Watching your own child is called raising your children, not babysitting
Hmm.
them. So
No.
they don't understand how gay men can raise children, how gay men can be emotionally available for those children, how gay men can cook dinner, do the dishes, clean the house, do the laundry, and paint the house, fix the things that go wrong, do the plumbing, mow the lawn, all of these man things too. The threat to straight men is that when gay men successfully raise children and have a family and those children are successful, it totally dismantles the straight man's excuse. "Well, honey,
Hmm.
I can't babysit the babies today because I gotta mow the lawn." Tja, motherfucker, the gay couple next door is mowing the lawn with a baby and a baby carrier. Why can't you do that shit,
Right.
right? The gay couple next door, they're emotionally available for each other, and they're both fucking men. Why can't you be emotionally available for me? That's a direct threat to every excuse that a straight man has. Point blank, period. And that's why they hate on it so much.
That's a good point, and that's actually
Yep.
some stuff that I hadn't even really thought about. So, yeah, I mean, we are a threat to weak men, is what we are. We're
Mhm.
a threat to weak men, and um, because we manage to do all the stuff that supposedly requires a little lady in the house,
Right.
and right, and we handle it all just fine. And you're right. You're right. It does. It does. It steps on their egos and their
Mhm.
excuses, for sure. I mean, I don't know what the difference is. I mean, why we can be more emotionally available to each other. We just are, but you know, um, like I said, I mean, the statistics show that gay men are actually fan fucking tastic parents in general. So I
Yeah.
mean, get the hell out of here with that anti-gay bullshit.
And I'm sorry, Riley and whoever listens to him, the statistics show that pedophiles are straight, white, Christian men. Let me
Yes.
say that again. Straight, white, Christian men are pedophiles by and large. They outrank black men, they outrank Mexican men, they outrank Asian men, they outrank Muslim men. It sorry, the gay guys aren't the pedophiles. It is the white Christian men that are
Well,
hurting the children.
well, that's why I kind of made some. Again, look at my Twitter feed, kids. Um, that's kind of why I made some kind of like tongue-in-cheek comments about the fact that heterosexuals should not be allowed to raise children.
It if we're gonna point fingers at sexualities and who's the bigger risk to kids, I mean, all fingers really need to be pointing to the straight folk.
Yeah,
That
pretty
at the end
much.
of the day, all fingers need to point to the straight folk. That's how it is.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Speaking of straight people and their weird hangups with the LGBTQ community, you were telling me that Missouri was going at it with the bathroom bill again, getting
Oh
all
yeah.
obsessed over what's in people's pants.
Yeah, so a lot of people probably don't get confused, guys, because a lot of people probably remember the situation with Kansas. And for some reason, everybody kind of confuses Kansas and Missouri. Well, so Kansas did pass a bathroom bill. And, it was kind of a afterthought because the bigger thing that made the news was the sex marker on state identification. And the fact that all trans people had to get new driver's licenses that reflected their birth sex. Um, that aside, Missouri's House passed a bathroom bill. I think that it has to go to the Senate, which of course it's going to pass. Missouri has a supermajority of Republicans, so I have no doubt this will pass. We have a Republican governor, Mike Keogh. He's a total wet noodle. He'll also, sign off on it. And I don't know. It's like I think the last time that we talked about this, I talked about there maybe being some merit to it as far as protecting women or something. But just the more that I kind of thought about it, I'm just I don't know. I think that I'm at a point of like just complete burnout on some of the anti-trans shit. I mean, like we've discussed before, yeah, or not gender ideology, gender theory bothers me in some ways. I do find it to be kind of homophobic, and I probably will never back down from that. But, you know, this type of stuff, it's just like, who the fuck is it saving? My friend Julia, who is a trans woman, regularly uses the women's restroom. I know that she's not going to ever cause any sort of problem for any sort of woman or anything like that. She's perfectly fine, and I mean, she's a, you know, good sized woman. So, I mean, I think that most people can figure out that she was probably born as a man. But no one's ever really said anything to her. I think that the Missouri public just doesn't really give a shit. But
I don't.
our fucked up Republican legislature is the ones who care. The people of Missouri don't really care because we tend to, by the way, if something is put to a public vote, we tend to vote left almost all the time. Abortion, gender affirming care, all that type of stuff. We tend to vote left almost always. Why Missourians keep electing these Republicans is beyond me, even though we're a pretty liberal people.
Here's what I think that they're missing, right? Because these bathroom bans, these bathroom bills say that you have to use the bathroom that aligns with the sex that you were assigned at birth, right? This is Buck Angel.
Yeah.
What happens when Buck Angel walks into the women's restroom in Missouri?
Well, Buck Angel is probably going to use the men's restroom, and I would have no problem with him doing that. And by the way, full disclosure, Buck and I are actually friends with each other. We talk on the phone all the time.
Which is why I picked his picture. But
Yeah.
if Buck Angel has to go into the women's restroom because he was born a woman, that's a fucking man. If I see Buck Angel, like the name I know clearly, I don't know what the face looks like because this is the first time I've ever really looked at a picture of Buck Angel. But if I'm going into the bathroom and I see that person walking behind me, that's a fucking man. I
Well,
don't care if you were born with a vagina. You look like that.
right.
You
Well, it
know,
would be it
who's
would
going to
be
be
ridiculous.
standing there?
Oh, I was
Are you there?
just going to say it would be
Yeah.
ridiculous for Buck to use a women's restroom. Um, I think the thing that I really respect about Buck, and this might be why he has such broad appeal, is that he makes no mistake about the fact that he was born a woman. And he will still say, if you ask me my sex, I'll say female. Um, which is fine. I kind
But
of respect,
the
but
point is though, Chris, it Buck can say, whatever he wants to say. The problem is that they have these stupid fucking laws, right? They're trying to
right.
pass that if you were born with female chromosomes, you must use a female bathroom. Buck Angel is a well-known trans man. Buck
Yes.
Angel is going to be arrested for following the fucking law because he looks like a man.
Right. Well, no, and let me continue on. I mean, the thing is like I appreciate Buck's honesty about who he actually is. To me,
It it
that
has
is
nothing
nice
to
and kind of
do it has
No, no,
nothing
no,
to do
no.
with honesty.
No, no, listen to me though. I think that that's kind of refreshing. But at the same time,
I think it's a little
There is
sad, but
no,
if that's what he wants to do it.
but at the same time, the fact that he would be expected to use a female's bathroom is ridiculous. It's absolutely freaking ridiculous, you know? And so here's a person who doesn't go along at all with the typical idea of what a trans person is supposed to be, yet they would still rather kick him out of the men's restroom. That's my point. That's what I'm getting. He's not the typical trans
It
person that the typical trans boogeyman that they like to come up with, but they would still kick him out of a men's restroom. That's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up, even though
which
Buck
is
is
rid
100%
which
honest.
which is ridiculous because the amount of times that a trans person has attacked a woman going into the bathroom is so fucking small. You can't even find a legit statistic on it. You can find isolated incidents, but you can't even find a statistic on it. So these stupid fucking straight men who are passing a law to protect women, motherfucker, tighten your gun laws. You want to protect women? Tighten your fucking gun laws so that
Right.
domestic violence offenders and gun offenders can't get guns and can't kill us. How about you fucking believe women when they tell you that they were raped instead of, well, what were you wearing? What did you say? What did you do? Fuck you. If you want to protect women, you listen to us.
All right.
Making these stupid laws about who can use the bathroom with me, I don't give a shit.
And
You
I
know,
am sorry.
if a dad has
Oh,
a
sorry.
little girl who wants to use the bathroom and he wants to walk her into the women's bathroom because she shouldn't have to go into the men's bathroom, nor should she have to go alone to the women's bathroom, fucking walk your kid in. I don't care, right? He's probably not the guy that's going to attack me.
Hmm.
If you want to pass laws to protect women, then listen to women about the laws that we need to protect us because we know what we need. These stupid straight white men have no clue what we fucking need.
No, no. And just one last thing about Beck. I guess I took the long route to get to the point that he is basically someone that they would consider one of the good ones. Like I was considered one of the good ones for a while.
Mhm.
And but they'd still stick it to him. And he's not stupid. I mean, he votes Democrat, you know. Um, he's not stupid. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up about the bathroom bill thing that I found to be kind of interesting is that when I was regularly going to bars, gay bars, straight bars, it didn't really make any difference here in Kansas City. Some of them are in fairly seedy neighborhoods, and you might go in the restroom, there's some person like, smoking a meth pipe or whatever the case may be. And anyway, a lot of in the seediest neighborhoods, which is unfortunately where a lot of gay bars tend to be.
Right.
And anyway, many times I was asked by female friends to escort them to the bathroom and go into the bathroom and stand in front of their stall so that they would feel safe. Under this bathroom bill, if it passes, which I'm sure it will, I would never be allowed to do that.
Right.
And there was nothing untoward about what I was doing. I mean, first of all, I'm a gay man. I don't give a damn about what's going on in there. I'm just there to protect my friend, and make sure she feels safe. You know, Another thing happened to me. I was at our local theme park recently, well, last summer, I should say. And uh, there was a huge line for the women's restroom. By the way, to all the companies out there possibly listening, build more women's restrooms and fewer men's restrooms. Hello. It's so
Yes.
simple. Anyway,
Yes.
anyway, um, so uh, it was a long line, and this woman came up to me. I was like next in line because there was a line for the men's restroom. And she was like, I really need to take my child in and get into the restroom. And I was like, hey, leave it to me. I'll take care of it. So I go in there. So I say to the guys behind me, I was like, stay out. Do not come in. We're going to let this lady take her child into the restroom. And the guys that were in there, I just kind of was like, come on, guys, hurry up. We've got a kid that needs to go to the restroom, and mother's with them. Come on, step out. And she took her child in there, and I stood guard at the door. Well, of course, it was a men's restroom, but now under this bathroom bill, she wouldn't have been able to take her child into the men's restroom. How stupid is that?
Right. Right. I mean, the bill exempts disabled people that need assistance, and there is some caveat for kids under 10. Um, but that caveat makes it sound like the mom is able to take her boy into the women's restroom, but not a situation like you're explaining. The woman's
Mm,
line is too long. This little kid's got to pee, so she takes him into the man's bathroom, right?
right,
She wouldn't be able to do that, no matter what their stupid exception is. It Men in politics, men in the legislature, men who are making these stupid fucking laws, if you really want to actually start full sweeping, because I think this is the last time the Republicans are going to get a full sweep for a long time. They have fucked
oh,
shit up left, right, and center. And hopefully, enough of the American public is scarred at this point. Stop thinking about what women want and doing things in our name, and start listening when we ask, right?
right.
When we say, hey, how about you not let, you know, men that have beaten their wives, how about you not let them have guns? Make that law, right? How about, when a woman says she's raped, you fucking believe her instead of asking all these fucking questions. What did you wear? What were you doing? Maybe you were flirting. Listen to us. Don't make stupid bullshit laws in our name that we never asked you to make. You're wasting my tax dollars at the very least, you
Well,
know?
I really do think that ultimately this anti-trans stuff, and I have this on first-hand knowledge. I've heard plenty of people, plenty of background conversations, all that type of stuff. This trans stuff really isn't about transgenderism. They see them as an easy target, which is
Mhm.
probably true. I mean, I looked at the polling in the state of Missouri. I mean, trans people have virtually no support here whatsoever.
No, they
Despite,
don't.
no, I mean, despite the fact that, our state, when given the opportunity, does tend to vote kind of liberal on public initiatives. But they don't have much support nationally. They really don't have much support
Right.
either. And I think that they are an easy target. And it became clear to me when I really sat down and reflected on it that they're using this easy target to segue into taking rights away from gay people.
Mhm.
So they're laying groundwork using the trans community as a fodder for this groundwork.
Yep.
But their ultimate goal is us. that is what their
Absolutely.
ultimate goal is. And, I mean, I've heard it many, many times from many conservatives. They would say things like, well, like when the Supreme Court turned down or rejected Colorado's conversion therapy ban. Well, that included gay
Hmm.
people too, by the way. And
Yeah.
so conversion therapy is now the law of the land for gay people too. And I, you know, I kind of thought about it and I was like, yeah, this kind of makes sense, because they do, when I talk to conservatives about conversion therapy, and I'm like, well, you oppose schools socially transitioning kids, all that type of stuff, or parents doing it or whatever, and you want to step in and you want to stop that. It's like, what about conversion therapy? How do you feel about that? Well, here's the answer that I almost unanimously get from conservatives. Some parents are just going to be bad parents. That's literally the answer that I get. And so I recently made a post walking back my previous opposition to gender affirming care for minors. And I based it completely on conservative ideals. What I said is that, well, and I explained the whole situation that I've been told that apparently some parents are just going to be bad parents because we need to protect parental rights. And so I basically said, I was like, okay, well, I agree. We should protect parental rights. So if a parent wants to socially transition their kid, we should allow them to do that. If a parent wants to transition their kid with medicine, we should absolutely allow that because sometimes parents are just shitty parents. And that's what I left it at. And I got so much pushback from the people who used to, support me. A lot of, pretty much after I stated that, like pretty much every major Republican organization in the state of Missouri had followed, you know, and I don't think that a parent is necessarily a shitty parent just because they want to transition a kid. I was just using their language,
Right.
and
It Their logic when it's used against them doesn't help their agenda. And if your
no,
logic when it's used against you doesn't help your agenda, then your agenda is not valid. It's not sound law, you know?
right,
It These trans bathroom bills are going to be pushed against gay men before they're pushed against lesbians, right? Because we're the number one searched Pornhub topic. So I think for the
right,
most part, people are going to leave the lesbians alone. Um, but these trans bathroom bills are going to now attack gay men because we talked about this earlier. Straight men are threatened by gay men. So if they can, you know, successfully somehow prevent a trans person from going to the bathroom, which is bullshit, then they're going to turn it on gay men, right? Well, a gay man can't come in the bathroom with me because he's already attracted to buttholes. He's going to want to stick his ding dong in my butthole if we're peeing. You know, it
it's so funny.
that's
It's like they think we run around with our dicks out and just randomly stick them in place.
why not? Straight men do. But
Well,
that tells you all you need to know about straight men, right?
yeah,
So all
yeah,
straight men can think of is where's the hole to put my dingaling in? Where's it at? Where's the hole? It doesn't matter if it's a hole in the wall, a hole in the person, a hole in the sofa. JD Vance, I'm looking at you. That's all straight men can think about. So, of course, they think that gay men think that way, that trans people think that way, right? Especially trans women, because trans women were born men. So, of course, trans women want to go around sticking their dingling into everything too,
Yeah,
right?
evidently.
And none of that is fucking true.
No.
None of
No.
that's true. I've had straight friends when we're all out as a group at night. I've had straight male friends say, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Between the table, going to the bathroom, taking a leak, and coming back to the table, they want to run their mouth about this chick and that chick and, oh, she wants me and da 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 da. When a gay man goes to the bathroom, when I'm out with my gays, and one of them goes to the bathroom and comes back, guess who is not telling me about the ass cheeks that he saw in the bathroom that were calling out for his dingling? The straight man. Or I lied, the gay man, right? But that's how straight men think. Straight men can only think about, where can I stick my wiener? So they automatically think that anybody else that was born with their same chromosomes, no matter their sexual identity, no matter their, sexual orientation or their gender identity, they automatically think, if you have XY chromosomes, you want to stick your ding dong in any hole that's going to hold still. No.
No.
The problem is straight men. The danger to women is straight men. Point blank, period. We saw that this week when it broke that there was that online rape academy. I didn't see that there was gay men in there trying to learn how to drug their husband, to rape their husband. I didn't see anything about lesbian women being in there trying to learn how to rape their wives, drug them up so they could rape their wives. Guess who was in there learning and teaching? The fucking straight men.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, to the extent that gay men will run around and try to find a hole to stick it into. I mean, we came up with something called bathhouse. So, you so the understanding among everybody is that's what you're there to do. So therefore it's socially acceptable.
Right.
But outside of the bathhouse, you don't fucking do that shit.
You want to go stick your dingling in a hole, you go to the bathhouse, where you're going to wash your dingling. You're going to wash the dingling's receptacle, and then we're going to consensually join receptacles and dinglings,
Right.
But straight men are so disgusting, they can't figure that shit out. That's the problem with the world, guys. Straight men. That's the problem. They're the problem.
Well, they kind of are. I mean, really, they are. So
I've never been sexually harassed by a gay man. Ever.
Yeah, very unlikely to happen. That's for sure.
Ever. I've never even been sexually harassed by a lesbian. So clearly, the problem is straight men.
The only person that actually sexually harassed me, and she got a nice smack in the face, by the way, was a straight woman.
Tell me, straight woman.
Straight woman grabbed my crotch. I hit that bitch so hard in the face, she about spun around.
And guess what the number one cause of gay people is? Hetero people having sex. Those fucking hetero people are having sex and popping out the gay babies. They're the problem.
Yeah.
Straight people are the fucking problem. Period.
Yeah. If you don't like gay people, ban straight sex.
Right. That's what it is. You don't like gay people, ban straight sex. There you go. Let us gays all the sex we want, because we
Right.
ain't popping out more gay babies.
I think I'm gonna make that my next post. If you want, if you wanna get rid of gay people, ban straight sex. That'll be my next
So
post.
I think that's probably it on time.
Yeah.
There's nothing, no updates going on with the Iran war. Trump is still flip-flopping, tacoing all over the place. You know, one day he wants to do a genocide, the next day it's a ceasefire, but we've won the war, but their like military is demolished. I don't know. He's fucking confused. However, reports have come out that Trump has only shown the highlight reels to the war, and that the upper echelon of the military leaders are boxing him out. They're not letting him in the war room. They're not letting him know what's going on. They're not letting him participate in the straight man war games. They're keeping him locked out. So at this point, our military is not run by the president like it's supposed to be per the Constitution. Not that it
Right.
matters, because our president declared and started an illegal war anyways. I'm waiting until April 29th. That is his 60-day mark. If we are still at war with Iran, now he is not only spit in the face of the Constitution, but he's spit in the face of the 1973 War Powers Resolution. And this is
Mhm.
an absolutely illegal war that dementia duty pants isn't even a part of. So what the fuck is happening in this administration? What the fuck?
Well, I mean, just on this last thing, I mean, it's pretty clear the country can be ran without the president. We saw that under Joe Biden. I think that we're seeing that the country can be run without the president. We're seeing that under Trump. So maybe we should just get rid of the presidency.
I mean, that's an option.
Right?
That is absolutely an option. You know, at this point, all Trump is doing is stealing from Americans. The tariff rebates were issued to companies yesterday. I don't know. Have you gotten a notification from your bank that there's a pending deposit of at least $1,000 into your account for your rebate?
No.
Because I haven't. I haven't gotten a rebate.
Excuse me. No, I have
Yeah.
not either. Hmm. Well, it's
The
probably
companies
because
weren't
I'm
the
a
ones that paid those
Mm,
tariffs.
I almost said the F word.
I say, oh,
The
the
bad,
bad F
the
word.
bad F word.
The
They
bad
get
F
us
word.
banned.
But the corporations made out like bandits. And I'm sorry, I'll say it again. Liberals gave this warning. We warned every one of you stupid motherfuckers that Trump was going to do this. He was going to push laws that benefited corporations. If there was any kickback from those things he did to benefit the corporations, the kickback wouldn't hurt the corporations. It would only hurt us. We
Right.
fucking told you, fuck you for costing me at least $1,000 in these tariff charges. And fuck you for being stupid enough to vote for it to happen to you too. We told you.
Well, uh, God,
And
I
I know
mean,
that that's a big fuck you to you, Chris. And you know I love you. And you know I'm saying it with all the love in the world. But you
right,
cost me
but
$1,000, man.
yeah, well, I cost myself that too. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. I think that there were a lot of people really caught up in the idea that he was going to somehow change the government for the better and for the people. And a lot of people bought it. A lot of people bought into that. And I do think that if you have half a brain, you kind of started realizing at some point that none of that was true, and you stopped supporting Trump. I know I'm not the only one. I mean, I really do think in the midterms, the Republicans are going to get their asses kicked, and I'm certainly going to be one of them. I'm voting a straight Democrat ticket, period. You know, um, so yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because he did seem to have a good idea, but it's like looking back on it, it's like I see all the signs. I'm like, God, why didn't I pay attention to that? Like his fascination with trans people and stuff like that. It's like that should have been like a fucking clarion call to me that something was off. It's like even if I didn't necessarily agree with, that sort of thing, and maybe I did kind of want to reel it back a little bit, which is what I once felt, you know, I mean, I should have realized that it's like, no, he's scapegoating these people. That's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's he scapegoated them the way Hitler scapegoated you. And I say you because, again, lesbian women kind of get forgotten. Gay men get picked on way more than lesbian women. But Trump scapegoated the trans community the way Hitler scapegoated the gay community.
oh man, I'm gay and Jewish. I would have fared very well in, in Nazi Germany.
You would have been one of the first ones on the train, dude.
All right.
It.
Uh, yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
don't know. I
I
don't know
hope
why I don't know why I fell for it. In retrospect, I don't understand it. It's a sad point in my life, something that I regret, and something that I'm very sorry for. And I just hope that people will forgive me for going down that path. I thought I was doing the right thing. Obviously, I wasn't.
it. I really hope, and I know I appreciate you apologizing. I'm sure that there's, at least half of our listeners are going to appreciate it. Um, I really hope that to anyone that's listening, this was a very hard lesson to learn. And not only did, the people that voted for him, not only did they have to learn this lesson, but everybody had to learn it because of how voting works in this country. We all were subjected to it. Um, Hopefully we can right the ship. I am really hoping that there are massive consumer class action lawsuits that are brought. You know, it'll be easy to bring the lawsuits against Sam's and Costco and Amazon because if you're a member, chances are you bought something there in the last year. Ergo, you are a plaintiff. You are subject to that class action, right? Um, Walmart's going to be a little harder to bring a lawsuit against because you have to be able to prove that the members of the class did purchase something that was affected by the tariffs in that time frame and that they should be the ones to get the rebate. Um, I'm kind of looking to the class actions. Hopefully with the midterms and then the presidential election after that, we can correct the Consumer Finance Bureau because they're going to be the ones that are going to enforce a lot of this. And,
Oh yeah.
through rule promulgation, create avenues for compensation to be paid to consumers. So, on that
I
note,
look.
guys, tonight we have learned that Trump was delivering his own warning with his Bible reading. Straight men are the problem. Straight women lead a close second. The only cause of gay people are straight people having sex. And Trump fooled everybody that voted for him.
Oh, yeah. He
What you got,
absolutely
Chris?
did. Well, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to kind of, in a more public fashion, uh, apologize for my past sins. So, you know, I mean, again, I regret it. I wish I hadn't done it. If I was to do it all over again, of course I would have voted for Kamala. You know, um, do I think that she would have been a great president? Nah, not really. But she would have certainly been preferable to the jackass that we have now.
We wouldn't be in a war, that's for sure.
Probably not.
So, on that note, guys, and from us here at Political Malpractice, thank you for listening, and I will see you on Sunday with Leela. Be safe, guys.
Bye bye.
If you want a second opinion or just something to rage about, hit that button and subscribe. This has been Political Malpractice.